Hey, this is Danny,
Hey, and Audrey.
and we are just doing some refresher work because it's been a while since we touched some of these things, or at least in my case. But first, before we really dive in, we're going to make sure that our stuff is working in on YouTube and Twitch, which is where we're trying to stream to. So I'm going to bring over a browser, and we're gonna first pull up YouTube because pretty sure that works. Um,
Is it going to be too noisy if I'm stirring my cocoa?
I I don't know.
Okay.
Here we go. It says that we're live. So
Here we go.
all right. So we know that YouTube is working, and I'll put up the chat over here on the side, and then oops. Now I'm also going to attempt Twitch. Okay, so I'm going to bring over Twitch, and okay, so we don't need whatever's happening there. And so I think, how do I get to my channel? Here we go. And look, it is working. So you can see there, I can see there on our screen that's working. So we're live, and I'm going to start sharing my screen. Okay, so let's share the screen. Okay, so we are going to do it on the laptop screen, so that way we'll be looking directly at the screen. And let's see how, there we go, look at that.
Oh, wow.
And let's see if we can change the layout a little bit. So this one, we get to see the little logo thing, and then this one, I think.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, we're
like
just
different picture in a picture.
right.
Okay.
I think
One of
maybe
the little ones. Yeah.
Yeah, I like this
Okay.
one. Okay, so
Cool.
this is how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And all right, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is, as I pull stuff over, I'm gonna bring over a browser window.
By the way, would you all like to have some hot cocoa?
Okay, so
I just realized the cocoa is all over the inside of the rim, so it looks kind of messy. That is cocoa powder.
Okay, so what we're going to be doing is, I've done a bunch of work with Next.js, which is a React framework that I really like to use. But it's been a couple months, and I have a hackathon at work this week, and my hackathon project is going to be really focused on a lot of front end stuff. And so we are going to, let's see, start learning. And this is the Next.js tutorial, and we've been through this before. So we're going to be going at really fast through this. So let's scroll down, and this is about the tutorial, and we're just going to start now. So first step is we're going to open our terminal, type cd into a directory we'd like to create the app in, and run the following command. And so we're just going to whoops. Oh, there we go. I just need to touch it and it would load. So let's, okay. So I'm going to paste that in, and I'm in my projects directory. So
it's called, the app's going to be called Next.js blog?
Yeah. One of the things, because my hackathon project is going to be building static stuff, it's going to be fetching data from APIs, but it's going to do that as part of the build process. So that way the end user just has like super fast builds. So for me, even though I'm not building a blog, it still is going to be doing those static properties.
Cool.
Okay, so now we're going to.
I remember when we did this tutorial together.
Yeah, we did. We did this.
I had forgotten about it.
Yeah, we both really enjoyed it. So I just CD'd into it, and now we're going to do npm run dev, and it's running, and we should be able to go to this, And there, we have a working server. Okay. And then we're going to be, we're not going to.
Quick review. What text do you see on this page? What did you see? Do you know?
Whoa, no.
Let's go see what. Okay, welcome to Next.js.
Okay, so, but I couldn't remember.
Oh, you need to submit it. Sorry, I'll let you do your thing.
Okay. Okay, so this is what we're seeing. We're just going to flash right through this. Okay, let's create pages. All right, so this is all basic stuff. And download starter code. Didn't we already do the, oh, this is like if we,
oh, right. Okay, we can just click next.
Yeah, we can just click next.
Yeah.
We're going really fast through this, so just to let you know. All right, so I'm gonna.
Pages.
Yeah. So one of the neat things about Next.js is you really don't have to worry about routing of stuff. So index.js is a React component for the content that you saw here. And if we want to add another route, all we have to do is, I guess we're going to copy their style. So let me just, I think.
So we're creating a new page, right?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember how to. Okay, so here's my terminal.
Oh, that's right. You like your terminal weird.
I do. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be like, let's see, maker, and then they tell you to put it at pages.
Pages, post, first post. You can actually just you know how like
you
can create a new file in
That's
there
right.
and then type post slash, or what was it? Post slash, what was it? Slash index? I can't remember.
I think it was first post. .js. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yep, first post. Okay, and then I can just copy paste that in here into the JavaScript file. And now if I run npm run dev, and if I go to here and go to posts, first post, then oops, it didn't like that.
Expected close brace got a line.
Why is it?
Line 69. Let's look at, this, it's saying in pages index.js. So I think if we go to index.js, we must have accidentally typed something. Yeah. There's a backtick.
Okay, so there it is. So first post. Thank you for catching that. So, but the neat thing about Next.js is I didn't have to route up anything like what you have to do with typical React or Vue.js or Django projects or whatever projects. It just is like, oh, we see a file here, we're gonna render whatever is there that's legal. Okay, so
if you wanted to add
a new route.
/author/me.
I think it's B.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't submit.
Oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Good job. I got it. Yes. Victory. Okay, so all right. Next up is importing the link component. Links are how you do you set up links. You don't have to do this, but then you don't get the performance benefits of Next.js.
Let's see. Let me read the Next.js docs on it. So, okay, it allows you to do client-side nav to a different page. Okay.
Yeah, and like I said, you don't need to do it, but by doing it, I think what it does is it ensures then, let's see, find class name title, and what it does is it ensures that the app is optimized for speed. So here, H1, so learn Next.js. Where's in learn? Where is it? It's H1, class name title,
You're going too fast. I can't
Oh,
follow it
sorry.
all. It's okay. It's okay. You go at your speed. I'll just hang out.
Okay. All right. So I can do like, I think it's link, and then where is it? Oh, yeah. Ref. And then pages. Oops. Oops. And need to remember that it auto completes for me. Okay, so I think it says change it to read. I'm still getting used to coding on this particular keyboard. Read this page. Okay, this adds an empty space, and then we're going to open up firstpost.js. Okay, real quick, Jershadi, I think is how I say your name. We have not finished 2 scoops of Django. Just between work and stuff, it hasn't happened, but we're hoping to get to it, or something's gonna happen. So, but don't have time to really focus on I have to get through this tutorial. As you can see, the link component is similar to this. If I go back, read this page, so it goes back and it works. So let's go back to the next part of this, and client-side navigation. So what I want to do really is look for, do you mind if I skip forward to pre-rendering and data fetching? Because this is what I really need to know, rather than the assets, metadata, and CSS, especially since after this, we're going to be doing, we're going to be bringing in Tailwind. So I'm going to skip this section and go right to here. So, okay, so we are skipping to pre-rendering and data fetching. There's been some recent changes. So even though I've done this before, actually we've both done this before quite a bit, this is going to be different. So here you'll probably see us slow down and actually take a more careful look at what we're doing. Okay, so download starter code. We already have this. We don't really need these things. Okay, before we talk about data fetching, let's talk about one more. There's some important concepts in Next.js, pre-rendering. By default, Next.js pre-renders every page. That means Next.js generates HTML for each page in advance instead of having it all done by client-side JavaScript. This allows for much better performance in SEO. And in fact, anyone who says that React projects are slow or Vue.js projects are slow isn't using tools like Next.js or pre-rendering. And they just don't know how to accelerate their pages. And tools like Next.js make this really easily. So when a page, there are instances where when a page is loaded by the browser, the JavaScript runs and it makes the page fully interactive, and that's hydration. So we want to check that pre-rendering is happening by taking the following steps. Disable the JavaScript in our browser. Here's how in Chrome. So open up Chrome DevTools, press Control-Shift-P, or Command-Shift-P. Okay, so Command-Shift-P.
You have to open Chrome DevTools and then type JavaScript. Disable JavaScript.
Okay. Oops.
Yeah, you disabled it.
Oh, I did?
Mm-hmm. See, now
Okay.
it's giving you the enable option.
Okay, and so now if I return, see, it's still loading because it's pre-rendered. So it's not actually doing JavaScript. It's pretty flat HTML. Okay, so let's re-enable it just so we can. Oops. Okay. Enable JavaScript and check out this page is a praying for React. Okay, so here's a quick summary. So let's talk about the two forms of pre-rendering Next.js. But first, which is the following is not a benefit of pre-rendering. Improved SEO allows your application to work without JavaScript, allows your application to only run server side. I think it's this one, right?
Wait, I wasn't really paying attention. Sorry.
Okay. All right, so should I hit next?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's two forms of rendering. There's static generation is a pre-rendering method that generates HTML at build time. The pre-rendered HTML is then used on each request. And then server-side rendering is a pre-rendering method that generates HTML on each request. So both of these are really useful. This is the one where we're probably gonna be focusing on. So okay, they have these nice charts now. Hey, Mujaba Mahmood. The way to get an autograph from me and Audrey is to meet us in person and ask us to sign it. So
yeah, we don't have any plans to go to any conferences or gatherings until after COVID. That our daughter is still too young to be vaccinated, but after it is safe to and things get a bit more back to normal, we are really looking forward to going out to some conferences. Where in the world are you located?
we'll wait
We'll
for the response. Okay, so per page basis, Next.js allows us to choose which rendering form to use each page. You can create a hybrid Next.js app by using static generation. Oh, he's in Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Okay, so maybe we'll be on the East Coast visiting family.
Yeah, my family is
next year or year after.
Yeah, I have family in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, so it is within the realm of reason.
Mm-hmm.
There's also PyCon North and PyCon US, but that's in May. It's gonna be in Salt Lake City. That's not really. Yeah, that doesn't work there. Yeah.
Are you gonna be at PyCon next year? Well, I don't know if we're gonna be there.
Yeah, we don't know if we're gonna be there, so
yeah, we will try. Okay, so static generation versus server-side rendering.
Yeah, so static generation is nice for stuff like for example, one of the things I'm planning to do is slurp up data from an API from APIs and format it. That's my hackathon goal, and display it, and then the end user should get a super fast experience. So static generation makes a lot of sense. Server-side rendering is more for stuff like, hey, we're rendering stuff on the back end because when the user's looking at it, we're hitting APIs and we have to do some processing on the back end. But we're going to be doing static generation. So when we use static server-side rendering, here's our quiz. When you have thousands of pages, when the data needs to be up to date with every request, and when you're building a page specific to a user. Do you know? What's your answer?
Oh, sorry, I can't think as fast as you. I'm still reading the page. you answer.
Okay.
I'm still looking.
I would say it's B, when the data needs to be up to date with every request.
Let me read it through.
Okay.
Server-side rendering. Thousands of pages. We should really try to like static generate a lot of those if we can. Page specific to a user.
Ooh.
Can be cached because they probably don't update their info that frequently. Up to date with every request sounds like it.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good job.
Good job. Is that awesome? Static generation can be done with and without data. So if we're just pushing out HTML without any like dynamic content, that's when we that's just static content. That's static generation. With data, that's where we're hitting like external sources. And in this case, what we're going to get to is with APIs. So the way to do it is in Next.js, you can export an async function called get static props. And it runs at build time in production, and inside the function, we can fetch external data and then send it as props to the page. So this is some sample code. See, it's get static props. Here's we're getting external data, and we're returning the props. And there's a specific format that you have to use. So I guess in the next page, we're going to do it. Oh, I see. So we're going to create some content like markdown file. So, and for this, we're going to go to the root, and we've created a new directory called posts and pre-rendering.
I thought that goes in page. Oh no, that's not in pages. Okay.
Correct.
It's a top level directory.
Because this is where our, oh, there we go. I just kind of click on it.
Oh, it's your markdown file.
Yeah, it's a markdown file. So, and so we have the front matter here and the content here. And then now, oh, we also have this file. So and then we'll just copy paste this in, parsing the blog data on get static props. So now we're going to update our index page to use this data. We'd like to parse each markdown file, get the title, date, and file name, which will be used as ID for the post URL, and list the index page sorted by date. To do this on pre-render, we need to implement get static props. Let's do that on the next page. So first we need to install gray matter. So let's do that. We're going to, I realize in the context of like a, so I prefer to code with my files this way, but I realize for like live streaming, this may not be the best format, because, yeah, so.
That's growing on me.
It is? Okay.
I like seeing all of that information.
Did I hit? Thought I. Okay, so I'm gonna. And when I code, I don't use the tree that much. I typically am. I've gotten really good at how to search files, and so I can search up files, and so I'm not typically not using the tree on the left-hand side. Okay, so I installed this, and then in we're going to create a top-level directory called lib, and inside lib create a file called post.js, which has this functionality, which kind of grabs our content. So so we're going to go to lib/posts.js, and then we're going to stick in our, let's see if I can get it to. Is there a way to copy all the content at once? No. Okay. So I got hooked on like not having this tree editor and having this side to side at work, just because I'd have like these long like terminal things, and then this, and if I had the terminal just at the bottom, I was having trouble debugging. So I kind of got hooked on it this way. Okay, so we got this in place. We need to add an import for get sort. Okay, so this is in pages. Okay, pages index. Okay, so we're going to, so you can see that here what we're doing is we're importing our new function from libpost, and we're calling it in the async function of get static props. And this won't run in a typical page load. When it'll run is when it's built. So like when you're deploying to production is when it's built, not on individual page loads.
I gotta go. You want me to turn that light on?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Bye, everyone.
Okay, by returning all post data inside the props, so we can now access all of the data. So I think now if we go to export default function home, and if I pass in all post data, it will display. And for those of you who are not from JavaScript land, this is basically like putting a dictionary right there, or an argument. So to display, let's update the home component to add another section tag with it. Oh, we skipped a whole segment, didn't we? Okay, that's fine. We will, so we have this layout, and with that, we did not implement, but that's okay. We're going to, let's do, see if we can get this. Because if you remember, we skipped like a big chapter on like formatting and stuff. Here we go. Okay, so footer, main, oh, I see. So footer can stay the main. This is what I want to get mostly rid of, because this doesn't really do us any good. And I just want to see the results, and I'm trying not to be too fancy. So I guess what we'll do is we'll copy this over, and let's get this, and we're going to get rid of this utilistyles thing. Okay, yeah, we just don't need any of this. And I think what we'll do is we will get rid of the classes, and there we go. So we're just looking at super default HTML. Okay, so there's no special classes that's being passed in, and let's see what the results look like. We're going to go back home, and oh, I need to restart it. Okay, look, so we do have it, and again, it's not pretty at all, and I'm going to change this up a little bit just so. Okay, so this is what we have thus far, and let's get rid of the footer just because we're going to get rid of. Let's see, this is all the style for JSX. I think. Okay, so here and there, it's again not really that pretty, but it will. Well, I wonder if we can like even make it. Oops, didn't like that. And then how do I get rid of? There's a little bit of stuff, and I'm not sure why it is looking the way it does, but not really important. What's important is that we have this thing, and I can blow it up so it's more readable for you out there in the audience. Okay, so let's see. So we've got that, and then so get static props. We've implemented the function which fetches data from the file system, but you can fetch data from other sources like an external API endpoint, and it'll work just fine. And okay, so it's not good if, so we only want this here. In development, get static props runs on every request, but in production, it'll only work during the build process. So where does get static props run? Server side. Okay. So fetching data at request time, that's gets server side props. We're not having to do it, but we could if we wanted to. So, let's see. There is SWR, but I don't think we're going to use that. And based off of this, this is all I needed, is to find this particular function and to take a look at it. And then if we look at it, what it's doing is this gets all of the files from the directory. We remove the MD from the file name. We read the markdown file as a string. We fetch the front matter from it. And then what we're doing is that a map? Yeah, so this is a map. So this is like a for loop. And then what it does is it returns a list of structures or dictionaries in Python terms, or JavaScript objects. In Python, it's dictionaries. This is the ID of it. So it'd be like if this were, so that's the ID, also the value, and then the data is passed in. And then this sorts it by date. So pretty straightforward. So I think what we can do now is, what I have here is what I want to do now is use Apollo to fetch data and display it. And the reason why I want to use Apollo is, so for this hackathon that I'm doing this week, I need to access a GraphQL database. And it's been months since I configured and set up Apollo or GraphQL with JavaScript, so I'm going to figure that out really fast. Actually, should I do that, or should let's actually get Tailwind working, because I think Tailwind's going to be a little bit easier. So let me pull over Tailwind, and Tailwind is like the new standard for building out sites, and we're on version 3 now, and what I want to do is, let's see if we can set it up with, I'm going to set up Tailwind for use with, so npm install Tailwind CSS. So I think what I do, oops. Okay, so here's my terminal, and I'm going to stretch it over here. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, so npm install Tailwind CSS, and then next instruction is I'm going to, I guess, initialize it. Oh, there's framework guides. That might even be better. So, so maybe I'll do, so let's do npm uninstall Tailwind CSS. Let's do it correct. Okay, so now I'm following the instructions on Next.js. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Okay, and now I do npx Tailwind CSS init, whatever that means. Okay, so what it did is it created a post CSS config.js file, which basically after every change, it'll try to do Tailwind stuff, and then it created a Tailwind configuration file. Okay, so we're going to configure our template paths. So we're going to link to, and this is in the Tailwind config. So if I go to content, here we go. Okay, so now pretty much any file I have out there can be Tailwind-defined. And then, so now I have to create a styles.global.css page. And then these are the, okay. And then now if I do npm run dev again, so in theory now with you know, the H1 where it looks like this, in theory if I do this, it'll look, I guess it'll be bolded and underlined. So let's see if that worked. So that was the H1 and there. So I put this in here, and if this worked, we should see larger bolded underlined text for my header. And it did not seem to want to work, so we'll try it again. Right. Am I looking at the right page? So blog, so see how it says class name, and if I inspect it, what am I getting? Yeah, so it's there. I'm just not sure why it's not working, why these classes are not picking up. So it looks like for whatever reason, well, the classes are there. So let's try it again. So we add all the files. So we have pages. So the question is this styles.global page being picked up? And I suspect that they aren't. So let's look at GitHub, Next.js, Tailwind. I suspect I haven't specified something. So here if I go to the canaries and then app.js, this is why, because I don't have a global app.js file. So let's fix that. So and that is in pages. Yeah, it has been a while. Okay, so now, do I need to restart? Maybe. Oops. Well, it might help if I spelled app correctly. There we go. As you see, when I lost the bullets, but this is working now. So now if I go to Tailwind and I look up docs, let's see if I can find docs. Let's see, list style type, and I think I can do. So yeah, I can do like list disk. And now if I go back here, it's still not doing anything. Oh, because class name has to be class name. Okay. Am I doing it correctly? List none. List disk. Yeah, I thought I would have class name. Well, class name list disk. It's curious. Huh. Very odd. I don't really understand why. And list style position. think maybe I have to do list inside. Huh, not really sure why that's not working. So one thing I can do is I can get my section stuff working correctly. Let's see if I do. I always forget how this stuff works. So maybe left. Let's see if I do like inset. Let's see. This is my weakness. Like, I don't know how to do these things. Hey, Secrets. Bugger this. Well, it's not important. I have other things I want to do. Specifically, I need to figure out how to connect. Now that I have the fundamentals of Tailwind working, I can get fancy later. But what I do need right now is to use the Pokemon HTML to slurp content in preparation for my plans. So what I'm going to do is I am going to, in my, let's see, where is it? It is, here's pages, posts, and then here I guess I will call this Pokemon.js, and then let's see what they have here. Okay, so this is post directory, so I can just ignore most of this. Okay, so let's first create a function that we're going to call it get Pokemon data. Okay, and then what this is going to return is, I'm going to run this really quick, and then I'm going to basically slurp up this data. And the reason why I'm slurping it up is, I guess that's Dragonite. Do I really want, I don't know Dragonite. What if I got rid of this, and what happens if I run it like that? Pokemon of type, but it needs to be provided. How do I get like multiple Pokemon? Where's the documentation for this? Here's getting Pokemon with variables. This is Mewtwo. Here it is. You know, I was thinking, like this. One of my beefs with this is I don't know all the content. So let's go back to. So here is the instructions on aha. Look at this, using Apollo Client React, and I am on React. So in theory, I should be able to use just this. That would be npm Apollo client. Is that what it would be? But I almost wonder if it makes sense to, let's see, this is, I think I like the idea of using the Apollo client React. Let's think about this. So here is, this is getting the client. So this is the client file. And then,
Hey, Danny, I have a call in 5 minutes for an hour with Akash. Just let him sleep a little more.
Okay. Hey, Dreyer, good to see you too. And I'm just thinking, how do I want to do this? The challenge with this is that, okay, so I guess I will just set up this file. I will create an Apollo client. I'm going to be a little bit sloppy, and they called this file Apollo client. So let's try, I guess we'll do it, we have a lib directory. So we're going to call this Apollo client.js, and we're going to paste this in, and then does it really matter if I know what we're looking for? No. So I will just, I see. And then this is the component that reads from it. So I think what I need to do is Apollo and look up how to install Apollo Client React. So here is, so do I just do npm install? Oh, here we go. And there's this nice copy feature. Okay, so it's installing. And of course, I don't think you can see it installing because I'm over there. So I will, let's see if I can adjust my layout. So there you go. So now you're no longer blocked by me. So this is our new Apollo client. And then where are we? We are, so we've installed that. We've initialized the client, and we're just copy pasting. Again, this is in preparation for Hackathon. It doesn't need to be super perfect. Now the question is, so here's the component. Okay. So here's the interface, and then this is the query that we're doing. So we're keeping it super tight, and then a super simple response. And what bugs me, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't like how like TypeScript like this is TypeScript, right? I don't like how it gets just embedded so often into like JavaScript, because this is everything else. All of a sudden you go from, hey, we're using, no, actually all of these examples are written as based on TypeScript first. JavaScript simply change out the imports to require syntax and remove any type information. Except for I didn't really know TypeScript. It's just something I haven't had time to learn. So this isn't going to be as simple as I want it to be, but that's okay. So we're going to call this the, I guess we're going to create a, that's not it. We're going to go here and create a directory called components, and then Pokemon.js. And here is where we're calling this. And I guess we're going to be changing the imports. So the imports, I think, are really simple. So we have the Pokemon. Actually, this is going to get confusing because we have. So Chawa, this is for a work hackathon. So it's a private hackathon. And I'm not. This isn't for the hackathon itself. This is in preparation for it because I'm rusty with some of these things, and so I'm trying to like get back up to speed with it. I'm not competing in the hackathon at the moment. So Poke, we're gonna call this critters. This is, so let's change this from Pokemon to we'll call this critters. So this is what we use to get it, and then Pokemon.js. This is the component. Am I making any sense here? I'm not making any sense here because this should be down here. Oops, crap. Yeah, I'm really used to static typing in Python. I just don't know TypeScript at all. So it is what it is. So I don't need critters. I can delete that. So I just fussed over nothing. And then let's see. So I have Apollo client, and then these should work. This should work. All of this is pretty straightforward. It is this Pokemon.js thing because as types import type query, and then do I need this? I don't think I do. I think I can just comment this out, and then let's do, and I think I can get rid of this, and then, and mind you, friends, I am just guessing that I'm getting this right. I know, like, people tell me that I would love TypeScript. It's just I haven't had bandwidth to do it, to learn it, um, and I always have, even with okay, so here's a confession. Even with um, Python type annotations, as much as I'm a big fan of them, especially for a lot of projects I'm doing, I don't like static typing itself. I like knowing what the types are, but to be forced into types I find annoying, and um, especially for rapid projects like this. But some really good people that I know, they swear by this, so I shouldn't get too ranty about it. Okay, so we now have the Pokemon components, and now I think what I can do, this is going to be really silly. Okay, in my index.js file, I'm going to do import Pokemon. Did that just autocomplete for me? Oh my god, that's wicked! Wow, did you see that? It just autocompleted. Okay. I normally memorize these things. It's just an old habit, so I think I can just call it, because this is an arrow function. Okay, and then this gets a Pokemon details as a GraphQL. This is a loading. So an insert. How I want to display data here. I'll get to that. Okay, so let's go here, and this is going to look really, really funny, but I think this should just work. Maybe. Okay, let's see if it does. I'm so rusty at the front end stuff. Where is it? Here's dynamic roots, basic features. Here we go. Oh, I need to start up my server, npm. And for those of you who can't see, I'll bring over here and I'll blow up my stuff just so those of you watching, npm run dev. Okay, so let's see what we get. Cross your fingers. I can close this now. Okay, so can't resolve Apollo React hooks. So it looks like I need to figure out how to install Apollo React hooks. So let's do that. Apollo React hooks. And it is, guess what, friends? It is called, or Code Cats. That's when I was doing this kind of stuff before. I was calling those who are watching me, I was calling them Code Cats. Okay. All right. It didn't blow up. And then let's run it and see if we get error. It is not erroring. And can't resolve Apollo client. Didn't I import the Apollo client? I thought I did. Let's check the. Okay, Apollo client. See, I did. Oh, you know what? Because let's look. So Apollo client, where did I put that? That is at the root level, and let's just. Okay, so what we have to do is wherever we're calling it, which I think is, okay, I think I'm lost. So here in Pokemon.js, I'm calling the Apollo client, which is one level down. So I think if I put this dot in, we should be able to find it. Awesome. So it gives us a totally different error. Let's see. I think I need to hold on, everyone. I think I need to fetch my daughter. She's upset. So hold on. Be right back. Yeah, I can take her. Do we have a milk cup? Okay. You want some milk? You want a Nutrigrain bar? Okay. Here we have a cupcake for you. It's got some nuts and stuff. Hey. Okay, sorry about that, everyone. My daughter needed some attention. Okay, let's see. Module not found. Oh, look at that. It's trying to implement this interface. We're not doing anything with interfaces. Why is it trying to? So GraphQL Pokemon response. You know, did I? Okay. Can't resolve Apollo client. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to jump this into there, and then, yes, so we're going to update the imports. There we go. Can't resolve Apollo client. So let's take a look at that. So this is in Apollo client.js. Okay, so this is where we're breaking, is right here. And so the question is where is the dependency defined? Let's take a look. So yes, the dependency should be in there. So why is it not working? So Samuel, you asked, what do I prefer, create React app or Next? Next. There's no question in my mind. Create React app is its own thing. I know people love it and adore it. I don't care. There's so much that Next provides out of the box that fits within my worldview. I prefer the opinions in Next.js. So you can't resolve. Is that the error that I got? Let's see, what was the error? Can't resolve Apollo client. Below is a new package.json. So there's create React hooks. So why is it not found? I don't think I understand. When migrating to Apollo client from all other Apollo related needs are removed and the references and code like miscellaneous import statements need to be replaced by Apollo client. So the question is, sorry about that, my daughter. What's wrong? Are you hungry? on, everyone. Sorry about the noise. Okay, can you hear? Hopefully you can hear me. It's hard for me to tell if you can or can't. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to figure out why this is not loading. And the Stack Overflow post from this year is that we need to be looking at Apollo/client. That is unfortunate, but let's see what happens if I do. Let's do some fun copy paste in here. And it didn't like this one. What it didn't like is Apollo cache memory. Aha, so it looks like this is a thing. Because you can see from this error that does appear to be correct. So let's look at our package.json, and we're gonna just adjust a bunch of things. Okay, so in package.json, we have, look at this. So it's now the challenge is I don't know. Let me just close a few of these files. So if you look at this, like in-memory cache is, I guess that is, so here we go. Let's look if we can find it. Here we go, cache configuration. So we're going to look up the official docs. And oh, it's part of the Apollo client. Look at that. See, in-memory cache and Apollo client. So I'll do a little bit more cleanup here. And then let's also do the HTTP link, because I suspect we're going to run into the same thing with the import path thing. Oh, look at that. All these things now are part of the Apollo client. That is a nice API decision that they went with that. One of the things that I respect about Flask over Django is that Flask just has everything basically namespace to most stuff to the top level. Whereas with Django, you have to remember like where specific pieces are. And actually, a few years ago, let's see if I still have it. I started to create a namespace thing called DJ Engo. And basically the idea is that it simplifies the import structure of Django. So see, from Engo, right, DJ Engo, you can import everything you need to know for it. And I started to put this together, but then I was like, oh wow, this was 6 years ago that I worked on it. I was like, I have other stuff I want to do, but I think if Django moved to this structure, it'd be a lot easier on beginners, because, and even now, I've been doing Django off and on for God, it's 2009, start 2009 is when I started to do it professionally. But I've been doing it, like playing around with it for several years, and I still can't remember where all the pieces are. So yeah. Anyway, let's see how our project is doing. Yes, we are not breaking, and we are seeing this is what we have for our data. So if you remember, this is where I stuck this here. Let's stick it above here, and I'll just put it HR. I don't know how. Okay, so this is if you see that load, that is it, like fetching the data. So we have something here. It is loading it, and this is not how we will want to finish it. What I will end up doing is replacing this with using get static props. But for now, what I'm doing is I'm able to fetch against the data. And so loading, so here's the data. And in theory, I think I can do data. Let's see what happens. What? Didn't I save?
What is a My Little Pony?
Why is this not? I got rid of that. So why is this not working? Hold on. Maybe I need to restart.
Is it My Little Pony time?
Oops, hold on.
Is it My Little Pony time?
No, I'm working on Pokemon. My daughter is asking questions about what I'm working on. Okay, so where is, I think if I do, or maybe it's this key combination. How do I, here we go. So let's, okay, so I don't want that. What I do want to do is restart the server. And didn't like something. This is in Pokemon.js because I accidentally. Okay, let's see. Okay, so it doesn't want to see this. Insert show data here, but I can do console.log data. Okay, and so that way we can see the results of our fetch. What? Okay, hold on. Hold on. So shouldn't, why is this giving me grief here? Like I should be able to see the log. So look, see, here is the data, right? So, you know, I'm not doing this the right way. Rather than poke around randomly, what I should be doing is, see, this is get Pokemon. This is the same function. And I should be able to do, that's one, we're going to change it to Pikachu. And then what else? Yeah, so then we're going to do Pikachu. Now we're going to run it. Okay, so it is data dot get Pokemon dot num. So we're going to try that. Data dot get Pokemon dot num, right? That should work. So now if we go back here, what objects are not found? Why is it giving me that error? Object with keys. Objects are not valid as a React child. Found object if you meant to use an array. Instead, is this? like, hold on. Well, one, that might help. Okay, so first of all, let's do console.log. We're going to see if we can see anything in our data. And I'm going to refresh the page and see if we can. Objects are not valid. Why? Okay, so let's see. Let me think for a second. So if I go to pages index, and let's just see what the data looks like. Yeah, so this should work. We should be getting something. Although, you know what it is? You can't just simply dump data here. Now I'm starting to remember. It's a little bit more fragile than that. Let's close some of these things. Okay, so, but the thing is why is it that here in the playground, so here's the data. Is it data.data? And then let's be like blarg. Okay. Object with keys get Pokemon. Okay, so let's dig in a little bit deeper. Is this anywhere in here? It's been so long since I've done anything like this. I don't remember. This is a downside when you step away from a certain type of code. You just lose track of it. Let's see. So the structure of, so what's frustrating is that, like, here's the structure of data, right? Like, here's the results. And am I misunderstanding things? Is it data dot get Pokemon dot num? Maybe that's it. Maybe I just overcomplicated things. So I just want to see that. Oh my God! How I think, you know what I should do is fireware. So here's it, and they just say, oh yeah, here's how you display it. For Apollo Boost. But we're not, so here they have a promise, right? But we're not dealing with a promise, or are we? So here's a Apollo Client React. Here's a component. Yeah, so it even specifies .num. So is it, maybe it's this? Maybe because, I mean, I don't think that should be it. That's not my experience with it. No. Gosh, this is frustrating. Anyone out there in the audience know? Because I am stuck at the moment. Just trying to figure this out right now. Just okay. So if we look at this, okay. So GraphQL plus Pokemon. This is an example. API documentation is how they do it using fetch, which I'm really tempted to switch to for the record. That this whole thing is really bothering me a lot. Apollo Client React.
Can you take out my phone?
Yeah, you can take off your socks.
May I take off my socks?
Yes, you can take off your socks.
May I take off my socks? Can you take off my socks?
My daughter's asking me to take off her socks.
I
We were-
take out.
Did you have a good time at the playground? Okay. So I'm gonna pull out the cheat code really quick, and unfortunately I can't share with you what I'm doing, but that's just something you're gonna have to live with while I use my secret cheat code. Okay. And specifically at work, we have a site about how to fetch data, how to work with the GraphQL API, and it's not public yet, but I have access to a bunch of it already. So I'm looking at it right now. And is it useful? No, there's a ton of information here, but it's just not giving me the information that I need. That is all right. Let's see what we can do. Objects are not valid as React child. Let's Google that. That is where I understand. Here we go. So React wants to have a specific type. So maybe the answer is, look at this. See how they're using this? So maybe the answer is to, let's get into some fancy React stuff. So what they do is so data dot get Pokemon dot map. Okay, and then within it, we're gonna have a Pokemon. What's the plural? We'll just say Pokey, and then we're gonna do an error function here, and then inside the error function, we'll do Pokey.num, and this might work because see how this may be returning an array, and so maybe this will work. No! Object with keys. Found object. If you meant to. Oh, you know what? Here, maybe we do. So we're going to do data dot get Pokemon dot keys. Is that a? I feel like. Let's try keys. I feel like this is going to give us a funny response.
Will you eat the cupcake?
Yeah, you can eat the cupcake. Want a bite of the? It's not a real cupcake. It's got nuts and stuff like that. Good job. Big bite. Okay, hold on. Let me just, right? What am I doing here that could possibly be wrong? What? I feel like I'm going nuts here. Maybe, you know what? Maybe what I need to do was, okay, so that's working, right? So part of it is, it looks like I need to stop and restart, which is kind of frustrating. Okay, so we have a different error. It didn't like that I posted .keys. So then the question is if I, what do you want? You want another bite of cupcake? Yeah, you can have another bite. Okay. So data.pokemon.map is not a function. Let's see what happens if we try it with off the data. Data.map is not a function. So, but what this is telling me is that we're getting closer, right? So, let's see. JavaScript, iterate, object. How do we do that? So A, B, there, it's entries. I'm so rusty. Entries, and then so tell you what, let's get rid of this. We're gonna do this, and then we're gonna do for const key value of data dot get Pokemon. Yeah, you can have some milk. Oh, you know what? So it's the object type object. So data.get Pokemon. Wow, it's fantastic. It's so interesting how fast you lose lose some of these skills. Okay, and then I'll just and then this. So I think this is what we want, right? So this way we get some visibility into what we're doing. And again, we're gonna restart it, and here, look at that. So over here, I don't know how well those of you in the audience can see it, but you can see that we have something. So basically, so if this is the case, so in theory, I can do, so you know what, I think I'm gonna be really embarrassed now. So if I have like span num, let's see, maybe it's, I can do num span, and then I can do like data.getPokemon.num, like that, and do I get something? Ah, right? Like, why does it show up here, right? Oh, you know why? Maybe because I need to reboot. There it is. So I got it. And now I can grab the other things and display them. So I have I have species, color, species, color. Okay. So now if I refresh, really? Okay, so as you can see, I've got the number, the species, the color. For whatever I didn't, all right, let me try and figure out how to explain it in a way. I'm just going to articulate my thoughts. So, so the way it works is React likes to see types. It likes to see small chunks of data. I can't just pass in data or get Pokemon. Because those are complicated structures. This is in a JavaScript object. This is a JavaScript object, and this is a integer. I believe it's an integer. This is a string. This is a string. So it's looking for simpler types than these full-blown JavaScript objects. And JavaScript objects are analogous to Python dictionaries. Okay, so we have that, and that's really good news. The missing piece in this really quick refresher effort, hey, Capitan Salyut, the missing piece in this is that, and Melissa Strickland, I guess, why does that name sound vaguely familiar? Okay, the missing piece in this is that this is server side. This is rendering live using the browser, and that's not how I want to do it. What I really want to do is have this Pokemon function, instead of it calling there, is basically call it from not as a component, but perhaps in the post segment, and call it with get static props. So that way, one of the props that'll be passed in is Pokemon. So let's see if we can do that. So first of all, we're going to get call something called Pokemon data, and this is going to break stuff. So just bear with me, and I'm just going to close this so you can see, and so I'm going to like comment out that, and this also, let's get rid of this. Okay, and what we want to do is from, let's say, this lib thing. We're going to do import, let's see, this is grabbing, so we're going to plan to create a function called get Pokemon data. And we're going to call this Pokemon, right? And let's see, what else do I need? Oh, and then we're going to do like, we're going to call this Pokemon data, and then get Pokemon. So basically and then here, down here, we're also going to be passing in Pokemon data. So as we grab a Pokemon, we'll be able to like display it in something here. So, and we're going to change this to Pokemon. So now our next step is to create some kind of format of like fetch the data, as it were. So let's take a look. So we have this Apollo client here. I'm going to move this over to the lib directory for easy reference. So we have this Pokemon thing, which is kind of doesn't really do us that much good, really, because this is if we look at this is a component, and we're not actually building a component. Instead what we're doing was going to be passing over an array of data. So let's create that array or that Pokemon.js. So we need another one of those. And then if we look at the original, we not sure what. Okay, so I think what we can do is let's grab this data and let's close this. So what we have is we're using this to make the query against the database. This is the GraphQL tag. That's like the SQL query. We're not worrying about this. And so I think that's what we need there. And then here's our query, which we used up here. So this is very familiar to what we have. And then here what we're doing is we're fetching the data. And so we're going to be doing that. But if you look over here under post, what this does is this has this function called get sorted data. If you remember over here, we want to create something called get Pokemon data. So we're going to do export. Will that work? Let's see what we call this. Export function. Okay, so let's say what we're the type that we're exporting, which is a function, and then over here, so see how we're getting the loading data and error. We don't. What's funny is in this effort, we don't care about loading. Well, we may care about loading an error of data later, but really what we want to do is return the data. And now when this calls it, so see how if it's loading, return. Yes, you can have a drink from your milk cup. So is this this isn't async, so it's waiting on these things. So the question is do I need to define an asynchronous function? Let's see what happens. I think this is going to break, but
Can you put that on the table?
yes, you can put it on the table. You want some more of your cupcake? Okay. And again, for those of you coming, this isn't a real cupcake. This is like packed with nuts and grains and stuff like that. My almost 3-year-old calls it that, and she likes it. So, all right, let's give this a try. And this, okay, so invalid hook call. Hooks can only be called from within inside the body of a function. This could happen. You may have mismatched versions of React in the render. You might be breaking the rules of hooks. You may have more than one copy. So it didn't like this. You know what? Let's get rid of. But that shouldn't be an issue right there, right? So Pokemon data. Oh, and here it is. We have the async function. So this is the async call. So why inside the body of hooks can be called within the body of a function component. So why? So let's see the difference. So we have posts. Let's see. So just trying to figure out why this is breaking. So this should function. So this is a function. Let's see. What am I doing wrong here? So, oh la la. So that's, so this is, but it doesn't make it, hooks can only be called inside of the body of a function component. Yeah, mismatch, maybe, am I Pokemon? Yeah, I'm not, could that be it? That's not what I want to see. You see that? That's the issue, I think. Need to think this through. I'm gonna check. So for reference, this isn't the end of things because I can, if I need to load it, do a load per user view, that's understandable. It's not really what I want, but already between having Tailwind installed, having, using this sample code as a way to like do GraphQL, I'm actually in not a bad place. But what I'd like to do is, rather than have it, so the way I had it before, which is this runs per load of the page, I'd rather like fetch the data during the build phase. But the challenge, as it were, or not as it were, but the challenge that I'm facing is I don't know how to do this as part of the build process rather than when the user visits stuff. So let me just check one of my secret sources of information. And sorry, I'm not going to share some of this stuff with you, but this is some work code that, unfortunately, as much as I'd like to say that I wrote it, the original stuff I wrote isn't there anymore. That my team has like replaced it with much better things. So let's see. So pages. Wow, they've really made a lot of changes, and I love that all these changes are here. Let's see if I can find it. Wow. Okay. That build process is so not where I thought it would be. That is, let's see if I can, wow. Okay. So things are fancier than I thought they were. And, I think I'm not going to find what I'm looking for with any alacrity. But the awesome thing is as rough as this is, this does give me, I'm gonna like move this over. This does give me the confidence to know that going into this work hackathon that I have, that I'm participating in on Saturday, and on my team is another software engineer who, like me, is relatively new to React. Well, I'm not that new to React and Next.js. I'm just a little bit rusty. But I think will probably understand Tailwind better than I do. I hope he does. And plus, we have several people from the ops team on doing our effort. And what's going to be exciting is, so you're probably wondering, what is this hackathon about? So I work for a company called Octopus Energy, and we can see that here is what I built in Next.js with my colleagues. And this happened, I launched this along with a couple other people on the job at the start of June. That we threw the initial version of this together in just a few weeks. And you can find this at octopusenergy.com. I'll post this in my, I don't know if, so hopefully, okay, so that is going, yeah, you can see there it is on my screen. So the thing is this is this is a site that sells renewable energy to people in Texas, and this is Next.js with React behind the hood. And basically, Audrey, who's here at the start of things, and me, we launched this with the help of Taha and Jaime at work in less than 2 weeks. We threw it together, and this was after taking the tutorial, like what you saw, and understanding how things were going. And we got it running. And then as months have gone by, and as we brought in full-time front-end engineers who are excellent, they've taken over this project. So that's what this is. But if you were in the state of Texas, you could enter your zip code. And by the way, we're expanding to other US states. And it'll list these products. And you can like learn more about the plan, and you can see these are the rates per kilowatt hour in the name, and there's some details and monthly rate stuff, and you can all this interesting stuff. This is great, but it's not a comparison grid. And I like comparison charts. And you can see the canonical one from within the Django community. Oops, hold on. Django packages is something that Audrey and I rolled out in our first year together. And we were active maintainers of it for a number of years. And now we've handed off to Fabio DeLuz and Jeff Triplett. And if you go to like here to auto upgrade, you can see that there's this handy dandy comparison grid. And what I want to do for as the hackathon is I'm going to be building out a comparison grid using Next.js. And most of the data that I need to fetch on the products, which I displayed here, is in GraphQL format, hence why I have it. So if absolutely necessary, what I could do is, well, as much as I'd like to pre-build the data and then have like a super fast response, if I can't do that, then what I'm happy to do is to just fetch the data on request. So if you look up the US products, then it'll get the data for you. Although in hindsight, I realized it's getting a little bit, it's going to be more complicated than I thought, because I forgot that the price changes per zip code in Texas. So what's 77004 for Octopus 365 and all these other plans may not be there. So I think the scope of this is tricky, but I'm not too worried. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And maybe I'll limit it rather than doing multiple countries. We'll just do it for the US, and we'll just let people change their zip codes. Anyway, will it be as pretty as this? Probably not. Will it be as straightforward and ugly as what you've seen in what I've done so far? No. I'm going to have a better style, and I'll have that ready. But tonight was my chance to refresh myself with Next.js, get static props, and some other information. So, and now I understand just that I think I need to look up the rules of hooks. But I want to thank everyone for all. I wonder how many people actually watched this. I don't think it's going to be that many, because I haven't streamed anything in a long time. So there's 2 of you watching on YouTube. Thank you for sticking with me. And then over on Twitch, let's see what we have on Twitch. Okay, so I'm checking on Twitch. What do I have on Twitch? How do I? Wow, I forgot how hard Twitch makes it to like look up these things. Online. Oops, hold on. Here we go. So my channel. I have 2 people here on. So I have all 4 of you who are watching this at the end. Hey, it happens. This isn't like me doing really awesome stuff. It's just a refresher. So anyway, thank you. And also for me, this was a test of my like melon and setup. One of the things I'm going to show you in just a second, where is it? It is, here's your milk.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. My daughter is Okay. So let's see. If I go to, so I'm just going to share something with you. I have a video coming up tomorrow. Oops, this should be quite a bit more interesting. It is, let's write the message. Here we go. I'm posting this. What this is going to be is this is me interviewing Jack Linke. He is a senior Django developer. He also knows a lot about JavaScript. He is a huge proponent of a framework called HTMX. And what HTMX is, and I'm going to show it to you. So I love Next.js. I mean, I really have grown to love it. I still enjoy Vue.js. What HTMX does is it lets you kind of stay old school, where rather than you have a separate client and a server, like with Django, you might have Django REST framework, and then you're using Next or React or Vue or Svelte or whatever have you. So you're basically building two separate apps, which can be fun and can be really powerful. We needed it for Octopus Energy, and I'm not going to get into why, but there's a lot of other sites which you don't need that, where you don't need to have a separate API that multiple clients, such as mobile, B2B, and web can all hit. Let's say you just have one client, and that is the web. And for that, HTMX is awesome. It is kind of like a return to the old, all server-side rendered templates, but it just makes it awesome. And I strongly suggest if you do Django or Rails or Laravel or anything on the back end, please watch this. Or if you do Flask or Fast API, he goes over not just the fundamentals of how to use HTMX, which I'm gonna share the link to. He goes over some patterns that have emerged from within various communities with template fragments and stuff like that. So it's really fascinating stuff. And while it's not the sort of thing would be myself doing these days, if I were doing things, if I were doing a smaller scale project for myself, HTMX, project for myself and maybe Audrey and one or two others, where we didn't need to have a separate API from our clients, HTMX would be the way to go. It is really, really awesome. I'm really impressed with it. So thank you for being here for my test run of streaming, all four of you who are watching. And I want to wish you a good night. Thank you for being patient also with my daughter, who made things a little bit interesting. So take care. Have a good day. Or have a good night, morning, wherever you are.